Guys, welcome to a new video, and today we're going to be doing an unboxing of Cannon Dancer Osman for the PlayStation 4 system. Now, I found out about this game through a Facebook post a while back, and from what the post was saying, this game was originally supposed to be Strider 2, but they lost the rights to it, so they decided to go ahead and just make their own game. And when I say they, I mean the developer. So I'm guessing the game was pretty much done, but they had to take Strider's sprite out maybe, and they put the Cannon Dancer Osman sprite in there. What you're seeing here, this is like a or acrylic art base, I think, or whatever. We'll just say acrylic art stand, and then you have the soundtrack here. Some of the tunes in this game are pretty hot, so good to have that. Lots of stuff in here, so I believe this is like a small little poster here. This is really cool. This is made out of some kind of cloth, very nice. Some more stuff in here that you have to put together. I'll have all this put together once everything's taken out of the box at the end, so you guys can see everything how it looks. You know, with a $69 price tag for this collector's edition, I feel like you're getting your money's worth because there's so much stuff jam-packed in here. This next item is some kind of calendar stand, so yeah, I have fun putting that together. Then we'll just speed this up here. Here is a art poster along with some other stuff. We have the game and we have the art book and a poster. So very cool. I feel at the least that these collections have an art book and a soundtrack in it. So very cool. But anyway, here's everything all together. Cannon Dancer CD soundtrack, the Switch version, obviously the PS4 version, and the art book that I'll show you more of in a second here. But here's the acrylic art that I put together of you versus the enemies. Very cool. And here is the outer shell of the calendar, which I guess I'll find some kind of calendar to put in there. Okay, so now a look at the Cannon Dancer art book. Got some cool sketches here of one of them. At least she's one of the boss characters. And we have Osman there himself. And now, as usual, guys, let's take a look at some gameplay. Alright, so originally Cannon Dancer Osman was an arcade game that came out in 1996, but around that time, I feel like arcades were starting to die out as people were getting like the new generation consoles. Like the 5th generation was pretty much impressing a lot of people. You were kind of seeing arcade type games on a home console, well, mostly with 3D type games. You did see the Saturn host some arcade type games, but you needed a lot of expansion to like play them, and most of them were imports. But anyways, going back to this game, it was originally supposed to be a Strider 2 game, but they lost the rights, so they made their own game. Freaking awesome. Some companies probably would just throw their game out or whatever like that, or just shelve it, but they said, no, we're going to make something for ourselves. So boom, here we have Cannon Dancer. Now, I don't even know what to tell you guys about the story with this game, because the story is pretty crazy, but it's pretty simple at the same time. Now, sometime in the 21st century, the federal government has pretty much taken over the world, and some threat, this woman named Abdullah the Slaver, is trying to take over the world. Now, the government fears this, and they hire a lone assassin. This assassin has a specialty for certain attacks that are like considered dance moves, and he's pretty lethal. Now, the game gives you all kind of power-ups where you have like shadow dancers with you that are kind of like replicate your attacks. They don't last forever, but they're definitely helpful when they're around. You can take out bosses pretty fast if you know what you're doing. Now, the music in the game, I guess it fits the game for its time. I'm not saying it's bad or great, but you know, it has some tunes in there that are pretty cool, I would say. Being that this game is originally from the arcades, it is meant to take your money, so just be aware of that. It has that arcade type difficulty, but once you kind of figure things out, get around everything, you could like perfect this game if you know what you're doing. Now, I haven't seen any videos where anybody's went through the game but not getting hit, but I feel like it's one of those games that somebody could do this in. Now, the game is not very long. It's around 6 levels, but the 6th level, I would say like kind of the 5th level too, but the 6th level alone is annoying as hell. That level, you have to kind of deal with checkpoints. So the game is hoping by the time you get to that level, you know what you're doing. But if you kind of like just mash your way through the game, you're going to get stuck on a couple of parts. But it's not too crazy difficult if you pay attention to what you're doing. But the game does have that rewind feature if you play on standard mode. Challenge mode is where you get your trophies and stuff like that. But if you want to play on a simpler mode where you kind of figure things out, you do have the rewind option in the standard mode. Alright, so also I want to say this. I'm glad that this game was not Strider 2, because we got our own version of Strider 2 from Capcom. This game became its own game, and I consider it a part of the Strider series. I mean, unofficially, you know, I mean, if you play this game, there are certain parts in the game where, you know, they took ideas from the first Strider, especially if you remember the first Strider when you're running down that snowy hill with the mines. This game has a truck that's chasing you down this hill. Well, you're pretty much on top of on a building, running off the side of a building. You're being chased by this crazy truck, so very similar. And I also want to say I do think this game is worth getting, especially if you like Strider or just action games in general. I mean, arcade games are like a fine art. I mean, there's just something unique about them. You know, they just why they were arcade games. I'm very happy that this game is getting ported to consoles so many years later. You know, I feel like a lot of people will have a chance to play it because, like I said, arcades at the time this game came out, well, at least in America, they were dying out. So a lot of people don't even know this game exists. Now, you guys saw I went all out for it. I got the collector's edition, but you guys can get the standard edition and be good with that. I mean, they do have the standard edition still available. Games available on Switch, PS4, PS5. Not sure about the Xbox Series X, but hopefully it is. It might be on Steam too, but I'll have the systems that is available on in the description. But anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys pick this game up. If you play it, let me know in the comments what you think about it. And that's all I got for you, Radical Reggie, and I will see you all later.